talk show. Our next guest is Potty Mouth, which I love the
Oh,
name.
thank you so much. It's been around with
So
me for a long time.
how is this? I am Potty Mouth. I found you through the Jawbreaker director that I love. How did that name come
Oh, I
about?
love him. That name has been with me for a really long time. It came from an art series that I was working on when I was a teenager. Just really sad and unhappy teen, angsty teen.
Yeah.
And the character of Potty Mouth let me sort of say things and express certain things in ways that I maybe wouldn't, sarcasm, just, the sort of attitude of things going on in my mind at the time. And then he was like a little rabbit wearing a sailor suit, which was really cute. And then over time, he morphed into something else, and else, as art does. And then I had friends starting calling me that as like a nickname. I had lovers and like boyfriends call me that. And it kind of like was taken out of my hands. Like I remember the first time I had an ex of mine say, "Oh, I'm just hanging out with Potty Mouth," and I was like, and I kind of enjoyed that. It was really cute. And then of course going into nightlife and the goth and punk scenes and things like that. That's people don't even really know my real name. Most people. So
I
yeah.
love that you're an artist. You're very creative and you've got a dark edge to it. So not only do
Yeah.
you dress in drag, but there's blood and gore. And has that always kind of been to add the goth or the horror into it, or did that come about later?
Well, that's actually a really good question because a little bit of both. When I first started out, this is pre-drag race days, by a few years, and there wasn't really that sort of accessibility to mainstream gay clubs, the stuff that I was doing at least. It was really embraced in like underground venues, goth clubs, punk clubs, goth nights, and they loved that. So I was definitely able to flex my like gender fuck androgynous muscle, do a lot of Annie Lennox, David Bowie sort of gender play, and they loved it. And it was very dark, and it was very dark cabaret and things like that. And then as years progressed and I sort of filtered into mainstream nightlife, there's only but so much you can get away with and do that people are going to be like, holy fuck, what is this? So I
Yeah.
had to kind of neuter certain things. And now there's like a nice balance. I can do very, top 40 if I have to, but my heart lies with the crazy, performance art. I love that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I like your usage of the word neuter. That's awesome.
It really is, because I mean, I knew I had to do that. Like
Yeah.
a smart artist knows how to cater their art to the venue or the place they're going, to
Yeah.
make the most impact, to make the most money, if that's what you're doing it for whatever the reason. And I learned how to do that, because then I had a whole new audience of people, that if I did stuff that, an underground scene, they'd be like, oh my God, yes. And then I did it at some like club, some, gay queer club or whatever, and they'd be like, "What the hell was that?" It's just a
Yeah.
different audience.
Coloring outside the lines. And I love
Yeah.
gender blurring and all kinds of fun stuff and
Me too.
dating all genders. I don't like to close my options, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
But you're gorgeous. If my listeners, I'm going to tag
Oh
you
gosh,
on
thank you.
Spotify, Instagram, TikTok. You guys have got to go check out his page. Like your
Oh, thank you so
ass
much.
is like fucking phenomenal. I think everyone wishes they had that. Is that your real ass?
That's my real ass. Yeah, I do a lot
What
of.
what do
I
you
mean, I
do?
so
What do
I
you
go to the
do?
gym. I mean, I could show you like right here. Like everyone's like, your ass is so nice, and I'm like, really? It's and you can do it at your house. My mother is Cuban, so I give a lot of props to my beautiful Cuban mother. Thank you, beautiful Cuban mommy, for your skin and your whatever. But yeah, I go to the gym like try to go to the gym like 3 times a week. If I go more than that, I'm so happy, but that's just realism. And it's quality over quantity what you do. Don't do
Yeah.
a lot of filler workouts. Um, watch what you eat, stuff like that. I still like sweets, and I still eat a lot of fatty stuff because this ass has a little bit of fat on it. I don't want to have a complete muscle ass, but yeah, you do a lot of like leg extensions, leg lifts, weighted leg squats, things like that, and do what you feel comfortable with. But yeah, she's real.
You got to have a lot of guys knocking down your door with
you
that face and
know,
ass together. Is it like there's a line out the door right now?
I have no time for men. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You got,
No, I'm kidding. I mean, I've been through my ring of men. You
yeah.
know, everybody's perception and fantasy of what they think you are versus what you really
Mm-hmm.
are. So I have people slide in DMs and they're like, "I'm gonna blah blah blah," and I'm like, "Oh, oh no, bye." You know what I mean? So they think
Yeah.
because you look a certain way. The same with my tattoos. I've gotten that my whole life because they think I have tattoos. I'm going to be into this, or this, or I'm not going to be into this. And then you have that conversation where I'm like, yeah, I mean, I have tattoos, but I don't want you to like pierce me with a hook during sex. Sorry,
Yeah,
or
things get
whatever.
wilder and wilder nowadays.
Yeah.
I think too, I can look dark and I like to mix things up, but in a relationship,
Gorgeous. Get that lip.
thank you. And I don't want to as well kind of go straight into wild, crazy things with someone I don't know and I'm not
I
in love
agree.
with. Like it switches up when you get safe, when you feel safe and loved in a
Trust.
relationship.
a
Yeah.
hundred percent trust. And trust takes I mean, it's so cliche, but it's true. It takes such a long time to build and like seconds to break. I've had exes that have done things that once you like cross that line in the sand, you just can never go back. You
Yeah.
just never go back. And you can't trust them the same way. Or maybe you've been like this. Certain things you'd be into with one person, not so much with this person. Or maybe a fetish or something that turns you on a lot doesn't turn you on with that person, perhaps. It's
100.
interesting.
I like to peg, and not every guy wants to be pegged, so
Yeah. There
and
you
that's
have it.
okay. That's okay. It's not something
Yeah.
I have to do. It's just on the
Right.
table, and
Yeah. And it's like an extra spice to the soup if it happens.
and yeah, it's exciting. I might propose to that person if they let me
Right.
do that.
I mean, if that's something you want to do for the long haul, that's something important. That's like, do you want to have a child? Do you not want to have a child? Peg or not to peg?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. It's a
yeah.
power
Anyway.
play that it's exciting, and it feels like you can take on the male role in the bedroom for a little bit, and I like that
Hmm.
switching off kind of thing.
I can
Okay.
understand that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you
I have
got
friends
one.
who are heavily into pegging, so including yeah. So I get that. I get it. I've had many conversations with female friends of mine who like pegging, so I get it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
fun. So,
it's fun.
okay, I'm glad we got to say hi. So now I want to go back to the beginning.
Sure.
So Virginia Beach, Virginia, you're
Oh my
born.
gosh,
I
my
want to ask you
hometown.
to, is it East Coast or South for you? Because this has been
It's
a
east.
topic with a lot of people.
No, you're totally fine. East Coast, but it's southern East Coast. So it also depends on where you're at in the South. If you're from like Georgia, I'm the North. Virginia's like the North. What are you talking about? This is like the deep South. But then to people in Virginia, you're of course from the South. And then if you go to the North, Rhode Island, you're definitely from the South. You know. But I did have the magical perk of growing up right by the beach. My parents' house is very close to the beachfront. It's like 10-minute drive. So I got to be by the ocean a lot. Also being a water sign that warmed my heart. But
What's your sign?
I'm a Cancer. I know
Okay,
so
you're
so many feelings.
emotional.
I know so many feelings. But you know what? I've over the years I've gotten good at controlling them. I know how to balance my head and my heart now. Aren't you an
I
Aries? Are
cannot
you an
date.
Aries?
I'm an Aries. I cannot
Aries,
date Cancers.
yeah.
They
No,
just are too
totally incompatible.
emotional.
Too incompatible. I agree. I have a lot of Aries friends, and I've actually had some really good Aries lovers.
Yeah.
But just the romantic
We're
intimacy,
assholes
no.
though. We're
You
brash, we're
can be.
assholes,
You
but we're
can
good
be.
in the bed, but we're not great
Yeah.
at being emotional and
Or
communicating our
communicating
emotions.
certain feelings and things. Yeah, yeah. And you
Yeah.
guys like to start stuff, but you don't always like to finish it. You begin a lot of things. You have a lot of ideas, a lot of passions. Yeah,
Yeah.
but you do sometimes finish them, but not always. Yeah,
That's
but interesting.
funny. Yeah. I that
Hmm.
shit's all too accurate for people to not read it and
It
follow it.
really
So okay,
is. It
so
really
tell
is.
me back to you grew up on the beach.
Sure,
What was
sure.
your childhood like?
Childhood. It's very interesting, especially when people see me doing drag and the crazy shit I do now. Sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that word or not.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Shit, shit, shit. But shit I do now. But I was a very quiet child. I was very shy. I had a sister that was about a year and a half older, 2 years older than me, and she was very bossy, sort of domineering sister, but also extremely creative and imaginative. We played a lot. This is I have so many memories of imaginary friends and drawing. Art has always been a part of my life. I remember getting in trouble for a drawing on our kitchen floor with markers and stuff. That's always been. And yeah, I was a really shy child. Was raised really, really religious, really
Mm-hmm.
Christian, very staunch Christian. Um,
We're
you know,
twins. That's
yeah, it's
funny.
wild. And in my teenage years, I went to like Christian, summer camp and all this stuff, and like tent revivals where people like dancing with snakes and speaking in tongues. It was really intense for like a 12-year-old to see that. But it also had a huge impact looking back now on things I'm into, tarot, astrology. uh, different forms of magic. Because I have memories of me in my Cuban grandmother's front yard with her big bird bath, and me and my sister would be like, let's make the cauldron. As little kids do, and we're putting grass and flowers into the cauldron and stirring it and pretending like we're little witches and stuff. And you're just like being a little kid playing. But then later
Yeah.
on, you look back and you're like, whoa, that was magic. I'm rubber and you're glue. That's magic. So it's like a little
Does
chant.
has anyone ever, or a club owner or someone in the audience, been like, "Oh, that went too far. There was too much blood or
Yes.
gore"?
Yeah. Oh my God. All the time. I, I absolutely know the clubs I can and can't do things to. Clubs that will give me wiggle room. One of my home bars here in Chicago. I sometimes the managers are like, okay, what are you doing tonight? You know what I mean? How much blood? No glitter at all, only confetti. But there are certain clubs that if you put a speck of glitter on their stage, you have to pay for cleaning, or they have it written into your contract: no blood, no glitter, no, mess, no silly string. But those are always my favorite gigs to do, with the messy ones.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. But I've gotten shit for it a lot. But I've also had venues who are like, there are a couple places that have been like, make as much mess as you want. We don't give a fuck. And I love it. Love it. I will make extra mess for that reason. Raw
Yeah.
meat, eggs, anything I can get away with.
Raw meat.
Raw meat. I had raw meat of me thrown it on a stage once back in a different city, and I didn't realize that it would make the stage so slippery. And after my number, they had to mop the stage, and it was a whole situation. They were so pissed. My whole drag troupe at the time was pissed, but I was, and I had to change it because it was a 2 weekend show, and I had to change what I did the next couple weeks ends for it. But the first
That's
number was really
crazy.
awesome. Yeah, I got it right in the face.
That's hot.
it
I
was
want
it was
raw
great.
meat in my face, but touch somebody.
A
That's
completely different form of raw meat. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so then how did you end up in Columbus, Ohio? When did you
My
leave
gosh.
Virginia?
I got out of Virginia as soon as I could. I was seeing someone who was living in Columbus, Ohio, and also through a weird sort of events, my sister, she had left our family many years prior and had moved to Columbus, and she was already living there. So I got to go visit her, and I met him. And I was really young. When you're young, shit happens so fast, right? And
You'll
I
take
think,
risks that you now would think
oh,
about.
holy
Yeah.
shit! I thought I was talking about sleeping on people's couches and stuff, and I was like, I
Me
would never do
too.
that. Never do that now.
Yeah.
Um, and so like 19, I was out of my parents' I turned 18, and then 19, I was out of my parents' house, and I moved to Richmond for a year. It was a really vital year for me because I got so much freedom. I was able to go to, like, goth parties and dance nights, and clubs were still kind of a thing then. And so they had nights at different clubs there. And I got to just express and do like all this different forms of drag and things like that. And of course, you could still be there under 21 at certain venues. And so the person I was living with had an issue with his job, and he had to relocate back to Columbus. And I remember such a distinct moment. He was like, "Okay, I'm leaving. You can go with me to Columbus, or it's back to Virginia." And I was like, "I'm going to Columbus,"
Yeah.
because it was, and I've never really like ever regretted it. And Columbus at the time too was a very like Portland, Seattle vibe. It was a lot of mom and pop places, a lot of underground venues, a lot of art on the street corners during gallery hops and things. And over the years it changed, of course, but it was a really thriving, especially in the goth punk community. It was extremely thriving. And and that's kind of how I met so many people going there, and was really embraced. Yeah,
Yeah. Have
it was
you, and then
magical.
so you moved with your partner there. Have you ever dated women, or you knew from day one it's men?
No, I think I've always known that it was men. Um, my first crush, God, you're gonna love this, right? It's great. My first childhood crush, and it's like, just, you can't even logically make sense of it. I just know. But my first gay crush was Hulk Hogan. Watching him like tear his shirt with that mustache, I was just like, yeah, I don't even know why. And it's so sad because he ended up being such an d bag. But at
Oh,
the,
you wanted like a Republican wrestler.
right, clearly, who'd rip his clothes off. So, but yeah,
Oh,
and this,
that's
I think,
weird.
looking back,
Yeah.
but I also had a friend whose first gay crush was Lion-O from the Thundercats. So
Okay.
who knows? I can say this though. I've never been one of the gays or queers that have been like, oh, women are disgusting. I don't think that. Also, I think that's kind of a bit misogynistic, but I think women are beautiful. I can 100% see why people think women are sexy. And, atomically, I went to art school and stuff. So like, I get it. I just am not aroused by them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've had a couple girlfriends when I was back in school, and we like make out and fool around. And I'm sure that if I had to, I'm sure I could be aroused by a woman and do the deed, but there wouldn't be any heart in it, And I think
But
it
you
would
know
suck for her.
yourself. Yeah, and
Yeah,
what
yeah,
you really want. That's
yeah.
what I was with
And
a
I would
woman
miss
for a
it.
while,
And I
but
would miss it.
I want a man like when it comes down to a relationship. I think women
Right.
are like fun
Oh yeah.
toys for me,
Yeah,
to
yeah,
be
yeah.
honest, and
Fair.
like on the side, but like I don't get emotionally attached or go crazy girl unless it's a
It's
man.
completely different vibe. I mean,
Mhm.
my sister and I, is very openly bisexual, and she's married with children now, and very happily married with children. But she's been both, and she's kind of the reason
Yeah.
I believed in bisexuality, because at one time it was just kind of like, you're doing it for your boyfriend, or you're on the choo-choo train to gay town, you know what I mean, or something, you know? But
Yeah.
yeah,
I went
I
on the
think
train and then did a U-turn and came back to
the
me
thing
like
is that I've learned that the train can go wherever you want. It goes wherever you
yeah.
want. Because at different chapters of your life, right? Maybe you're into women now and then men here and then women again. Who knows?
Yeah. Now I
It's
like
all
fat
about,
gay guys.
oh my
That's my
God.
thing. Yeah.
I
Like
love a,
bears. Have you ever
yes.
dated a bear?
Yes, many. And I've had many bear lovers. That's the thing that people are very surprised at me. I like hairy, thick,
Yeah.
tall, lumberjack looking Viking men.
Yeah.
I like a pretty boy and a pretty slim, androgynous fellow too. I've had plenty. Let me reiterate. My taste in men is broad and varied. Black, white, tall, short. If I'm into your vibe, if I'm into the look, if I'm into the everything, I'm into you.
Yeah.
So I've had many men that are very physically attractive to me, and they take their clothes off, and I'm like, oh, not as attractive as I thought it would be, huh? You know, so that happens. Or somebody who's very physically attractive, and then their personality kills it. You're like, oh,
Oh,
never mind.
having a mental
you know.
connection and someone that can hold a conversation and enlighten me or teach me things too is just so attractive. That's
And
my favorite.
also, as I've gotten older, I'm sure you agree with this. Somebody who's fucking fun. I want somebody
Yeah.
who's fun and makes me laugh and can be kind of chill. Not somebody who takes themselves so seriously that they're like looking in the mirror at themselves as we have sex and thought, like, that's weird. I don't want to do that. I mean,
Like stuck
maybe.
up or conceited or
Yeah.
just go with
Yeah.
the flow. I'm super go with the flow. So when someone's
Yeah.
rigid and they trip out at little things, it ruins
Mm.
the whole vibe, the mood.
Of course. Of course. It's always about the vibe, right? Always.
Yeah. So
Um,
wait, and then so how did you get from you're in Ohio and did you go straight from Ohio to Chicago or was there a stop
Yeah,
before that
no,
happened?
I definitely, I mean, I was doing things in other cities performing, but no, when I was in Chicago, or excuse me, in Columbus for quite a while. I competed there and got into like a performance art drag troupe for a few years, and then it finally sort of disintegrated, and they kind of we all went our own ways. Um, but the funny thing is that how certain things in life you can like, if you're observant, sometimes you can like smell the wind of change coming, and I knew that I needed it. It was time to move to
Mm.
Chicago. I had also befriended a really close and dear friend of mine named Jojo Baby, who is not only a drag legend but a huge icon here in Chicago. She passed away a couple years ago, sadly. But I befriended her around that time before moving here, and would come and visit her when I would come and visit friends here and stuff. And she was like, Potty, you just need to move here. There's so many opportunities. It's just such a freer space. And also, Columbus, Ohio started to kind of change and get gentrified, and a lot of the cool places closed down. A lot of cool venues I used to perform at closed down. Um, and so it was just such an easy, seemed so natural at the time, transition, you
Chicago
know?
is such an artsy, fun
It
town. Like
is.
I love
It
that city
is.
so much.
It is.
The weather though, it's a little too cold for me being from California. That's my
Mommy,
only I can't do
mommy,
it.
mommy, let me tell you, it is my least favorite thing about the city. It just snowed here about
Yeah.
2 days ago. It's chilly as hell outside. Um, very long winters, 9, 10
Yeah.
month winters. So during the summer, everyone goes ape shit buck wild for
Yeah.
those like 2 months, because that's like really 2 months of heat is what you get. But also
That's cool.
I turn it into pleasure, where in the wintertime I do a lot of creating. I do a lot of behind the scenes work, in the cold months. But it is artsy city. It's also a Game of Thrones. This city, I like to call, at least in the performance art scene, I call it Memoirs of a Geisha and Game of Thrones put into one. you know,
Okay, that's
because it's
cool.
kind of like knowing how to play the game, where to do things at, whose territory is whose, and any performer in the city that says it's otherwise is lying to you.
Yeah.
So,
What
yeah,
when I was in LA for 8 years, it was cutthroat. It was
absolutely.
definitely
Yeah.
and who you know, trumped
A
your talent
a
for sure.
100%. Oh yeah, nepotism is a huge thing in the city. Who you're
Yeah.
friends with, who your family members are, who you're fucking, all
Oh
sorts
yeah.
of things. Oh yeah, it's pretty wild. I've
I
actually
always
thought
laughed.
I'll
I was fucking all the right people, but I didn't want to be an actress. So all my friends with headshots trying to be actresses were trying to slip their headshots to me to give to the directors and producers. I was just banging them because I thought they were smart and funny. So I should have been
wow.
trying to act looking back.
You
Man,
know
I
what's
messed up.
funny is I've thought about if I had fucked quite a few people that have slid into my DMs here in the city. I wonder where my drag career would maybe be. Maybe I'd be in some echelon house that I'm not. But I didn't want to be that way. But trust me,
Yeah.
I've had copious amounts of drag performers slide into my DMs, and I just don't like to shit where I eat either. I want to know that I got that space because of my talent and because I was hardworking, not because I sucked your dick really good. You know
Yeah.
what I mean, or
Yeah,
whatever.
or
So
as you get older, a lot of us change. Like in your 20s, it might be like this is hot. This person is
100.
cool and they're a vibe. Let's do this. And then when you get to your 40s, it's like, I'm going to get attached maybe. This could be a
Right.
whole
Is this bad
thing.
karma? Is this going to come back
Yeah.
to bite me in the ass later?
Yeah,
And because
definitely.
then also people talk, especially in the gay world, and in some green room or somewhere, somebody may say something and this and that. I don't know. It just seems too messy, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, no, I definitely I vibe with that. And
yeah.
I I I don't have any reputation in Sacramento because it's where I've come to just
Mm.
retire and raise kids, and it's a slow city pretty much. You
Sure.
can find
Sure.
some things to do. There's some art here, but I kind of like that it's safe. But man,
Yeah.
LA and San Francisco are too fun. There's too much going on. I
Big
definitely
buck
would
wild.
buck wild in those areas. I need to not have babies there kind of thing, you
Right.
know.
And and I think that's smart for you, actually. It's just a new chapter you need to have.
Yeah.
You know what I
What
mean?
about you? Do you want to have kids?
No. Never. I've never
Not
wanted
at
to.
all.
And you know what? It's so funny. I have such a huge distinct memory of my father and one of my uncles at the back of the tail of his truck talking to me one time. I was so young. I must have been like 6 or 7 or 8 or something. And and I was talking about how I never wanted to get married or have kids. I was just like, no, I don't want to. And my dad started laughing. He's like, "Oh, son, when you find the right girl one day, it's going to be totally different." And in that tender age, in my mind, I didn't say it out loud. I was like, "You're wrong. No, I don't ever want children or to be married, and I never have. Art is my child, and art is my partner. You know,
Yeah.
and I've had many partners for many years too. So it's not like I say that flippantly. I've been with people for many years. I had somebody that I almost kind of consider my husband because we were together and our lives were interlocked for so long, but no. And I also realized that having children and having a relationship is work, and it's so much
Yeah.
work. It's a life, if you're with the person for the rest of your life, it's a lifelong thing. um, and that's just too much commitment and compromise for me. I put my art on the back burner for many years in a lot of ways, believe it or not. And I was like, what if for like the next 10 or 15 years I don't date anybody? I can have lovers, I can have fuck buddies, but a boyfriend, putting all of that into one person, for me, it's too dangerous. Too dangerous.
That's really healthy
You know?
of you that you recognize that you don't want to put all that time and energy into a relationship and kids,
Yeah.
and get just
I'd
over.
rather have tons of friends, good
Yeah.
friendships, because I've had friends for decades. One of my dearest friends, I have a tattoo with her. Oh my God, we've been friends for like 25 years,
Yeah.
26 years or something.
That's me. I
So,
love my friends are my family because I don't really have family. So I have a lot of friends that I've known my whole
mm,
life now that are more sisters and brothers than friends, I would
anything.
call.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you trust them, and you have so much history and memories and magic together, you know. And because I don't believe in that. Not to this isn't necessarily to speak badly on any specific family member of mine, but I don't believe in that blood is thicker than water thing.
Oh
I don't
yeah.
believe in that at all.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I've had a crazy life, family, and friends, and all sorts of different things up until this point. But or at least at this point, maybe one day down the road, 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 15 years from now, I'll find somebody when I've reached a point where I've established and I'm where I want to be. Um, and I'll be like, okay, mate, let's meet halfway. I'll never live with somebody again though, ever. Ever.
No, why
Absolutely
not?
never.
Why
I like
not?
my
I
own
love that.
space.
Oh, I
I hate
love
it.
living with someone.
What?
I want to
Don't you
cuddle
hate
all the time. I'm like a
what about
cuddle
their
monster.
noise and like okay, that's fair. Cuddling is
I can
real.
sleep through anything. Like I'm a solid sleeper. Yeah.
None of me. I
You
could
want to live on
do
your own?
absolutely. I like my own space. This is what it is too. I like my own mess. I've had to way too many men have I had to go to, hey, can you please clean your piss off the toilet ring? Hey, can you please rinse your spit from your toothpaste down the sink? Like baby stuff. And I could live in the same apartment building as a partner, probably. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Or something like that. You live on a different floor. I was also reading, I can't remember what celebrity it was who was talking about I can't, oh God, it was just recently. They were like, I see my husband 3 times a week. And that's how we spend the night together 3 times a week. And I was like, I mean, everybody has a different MO, right?
Yeah.
I think I would have to go with the flow more than that. I don't think I'd want it to be that regimented. But I mean, I've definitely had enough relationships where we've just been up each other's asses so much that I was like, oh my God, I need my space. Yeah,
I
it's
want
my
to
space.
glue my body with my partners. Like that
Oh my God, what's
obsession.
that horror movie that just came out? Was it Together?
Yeah,
Is
it's
that the name of it?
together.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what
that is
I
wild.
want them to jerk off in my coffee and I drink it all day. Like
I pop out
obsessed.
my glass eye, clean it, and then put it into their head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
But you know
vibe.
what?
But so I've
Honestly,
been single for a year though. It's the longest I've ever been single, so I'm
oh,
not in a rush.
really?
I'm being very
Oh my
picky because
God.
I think it's my last relationship. Like
Be
I've
picky,
matured.
mama. Be
I
picky.
am.
You're
I want it.
gorgeous. You don't need
Thank
to
you.
be. Yeah, it's
Thank
true.
you.
I've been single for like going on 6 years, and I haven't missed it at all. I mean, and this is also the other thing too. I've had enough lovers along the way that have reminded me what I'm not missing out on. That I'm like, I'm good on this. I'm super good. I'm actually good.
There's a
Um,
lot of unhappy married people in the suburb I'm in and they're all cheating on each other. So it's definitely scary to be the single person that
it
everyone
is.
cries to that they're unhappy and I'm
It
like,
is.
I want to get married again, but you guys aren't making this look really fun, really
You know what?
cool.
Honestly, Steph, when you don't rush, that's when you when it's right and you find it. When you find it, this is what I tell people: have boundaries, have so many standards. Because
Yeah.
I look at it like this. This is okay. Here we go. If you meet a guy, all right, and he's already kind of badass bad boy, the likelihood that when you actually really get to know him, he's going to be a huge asshole is pretty high. Okay, but if you find the nerd who's extra sweet, then by the time he levels out when you're with him, he kind of turns into just like a mild, sweet, normal, kind of maybe sometimes an asshole dude. Because
Yeah.
because you kind of put on your best behavior usually when you're, trying to woo someone, right?
Yeah.
Um, so now when I look for guys, I look for super sweet guys. I do. You know what I mean?
I
Guys that
love
are
a
really
nerdy golden
kind.
retriever. Like a
Oh
nerdy
my
golden
God, that's
retriever that's in his basement video gaming and stays home. Ugh,
some little
in it.
artsy dude who's nerdy or likes to read. God, if you tell me you like to read, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I like people that are creative too. I've been around enough groups of people where I was the weirdo that now I like to have other weirdos in my life to bring things to the table and inspire me. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And when I find the right person, if I do, there's been a couple dudes in the last few years that I thought were going to be something, and then they just showed themselves as always. And I was like, oh, never mind. Let me keep moving.
I
you
know.
know, it
I'm holding
happens.
out hope for somebody for sure. We'll see.
I'm not saying
Like,
it can't happen. I'm not saying you have to die
yeah.
alone. I just say
Yeah.
have a lot of standards and make
Oh, yeah.
sure that you don't compromise. Just make sure that the level of compromise you have isn't a deal breaker for you. You know what I mean?
100%. Like I said, I pay all
Yeah.
my bills. I got my own house. Everything's chill. So it's like you better add to
Perfect.
my life because I've got this shit on
You better meet
lock.
me
So
halfway.
yes, or
Absolutely.
have a
Absolutely.
mansion and
Right. And if you're
have a
and if
lot
you're
more
someone's
than
sugar
me.
mommy, then they better be so fucking hot. you know?
I can't do that.
So
I have
no, I
kids,
wouldn't
right?
either.
So I'm taking care of two boys. I don't joke. I don't want a third
I
son.
don't blame you. I don't blame you.
It'd be much. Okay, so
Yeah.
you're really artsy. I love the
Yeah,
detail
I
in your
love.
makeup, obviously like
Thank
drawing,
you.
your vision and everything. You
Painting.
went to art school. Is that
I
where you
did.
think you learned a lot or was it more in theory and practice just living life?
That's a very good question. Well, going to art school, I learned more about the art world. Actually, what I learned more from art school, because it was actually quite freeing, and I did have a lot of freedom to do what I wanted, which was amazing. So I'll answer this in two questions. Art school taught me more about the politics of business and the world of what drag would end up being. Because as you said, there's many times where who you know surpasses your talent, and in any
Yeah.
field. visual art, dance, TV. I've seen it far and away happen. Um, so going to the art school showed me sort of the world of politics and art, who you knew, who you were friends with, what gallery you knew, who you were maybe banging, who was friends with this person or that person, or who took this person's class, and and all sorts of things. And so, but it was there was a lot of pros and cons to art school to me. So I learned that. And I did have my final year there. I did have quite a celebratory time. I went to a lot of gallery shows and stuff, which was kind of surprising to me, actually. But then the second part of that question is, I say, as any, hopefully any artist would already know this, the more you do it, the better you get, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I had, when I was much younger, in my early 20s, I had a vision, um, of what one day I would want Potty Mouth to eventually be and look like. Um, and it wasn't until, I mean, years, decades, really, you slowly climb that mountain, or at least I did. And it made it all, the road less traveled by and all that crap. And it made it so much more valuable, because I didn't just get step 1 to step 20. I had to very slowly and figure things out, and all sorts of stuff. And even my performing has changed. I'm much more of a
Yeah.
confident performer. I'm much more of a fluid performer with my body. And because it's, as you get older, there's a feeling of letting things go. You don't have to have every person like you. My performing and my
Oh
drag
yeah.
isn't going to be for everybody. I get that now. But back when I was younger, I wanted everybody to love me. Everybody had to approve. And now I'm just like, well, if you like it, you like it. And if you don't, but if people think I'm too weird, that's usually a good sign, you know?
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
being weird. I don't fit in a category or a box, or what
No,
I date
absolutely
is
not.
very strange, but
Same.
I
Same.
am very vocal about it nowadays, and I'm
Yeah.
unapologetically, this is me. If you
Good.
don't
You
like
have
it,
to
that's
be.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you
And
have to
people will
be.
find you. You'll find your tribe, and people will accept you for your outside the box way of thinking.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I feel like, I've had friends come and go in my lives that have, different seasons. They brought things to my life, et cetera, et cetera. You learn lessons, and then you move on, or
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, art school was very much so taught me a lot about the politics of uh, things that I would end up seeing later on in other fields, even the goth club world. DJs who, would you get certain bookings because you knew this club or this DJ, or did these people at this club not like you, so you wouldn't, or, there was all sorts of weird, interesting things behind the scenes. You know how it
Oh,
goes.
yeah, I was in burlesque troops for years. I'm not doing burlesque anymore
Oh
because
my
my body
gosh.
hurts now.
Oh my
But
God, I feel that.
it was all like who you knew and how you got booked, or if someone didn't show up one night and they were a great performer, then they wouldn't get booked next time. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's very depends on how you act, and then also again like politics in general, where you fall, how vocal you are, what's going on with stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Yeah.
it's
It's
crazy.
very interesting. It's very interesting.
So I
But,
love to make up a game with every guest
oh,
and just play
I
like
love
a
a game.
fun game at the end. Are you down?
Oh my God, absolutely. I love a fun game.
Okay, cool.
Let's
So
do it.
this one is going to be bare minimum or over the top in a relationship.
Bare minimum or over the top? Okay, okay. Like
Okay.
like explain it more. Explain it more. Like
So
they're
like you're
doing
in a relationship and you're like, this is just the bare minimum. That's flat, should happen all the time. Or
okay,
over the
perfect,
top,
perfect,
that's too
perfect.
much.
Okay,
Like,
perfect. Okay, I love this.
okay.
All right,
All right.
let's do it.
A foot massage.
Oh, bare minimum.
Okay.
Bare minimum.
Breakfast in bed.
Bare minimum.
A
Bare minimum,
rim job.
definitely. Bare minimum. If I will I will
First
I will
date. First
I will
date.
not, seriously. Yes. I will walk out. Actually probably won't even meet up with you if you're not into rimming. Fuck that. No, absolutely not. You're gonna be with
That
me for
means
the
you
rest of my
don't
life,
love
and
me. Yeah.
right. I'm gonna be with you for the rest of my life and no more rim jobs? Absolutely not.
Have you ever met a
Absolutely
guy
not.
in an airport and just like gone at it?
No, I almost did one time
Okay.
and I almost missed my flight. The gays can be so flighty about ghosting and all this crap. I'm like, bro, now or never. And then I was like, I gotta go. But yeah,
Yeah.
maybe one day.
Yeah. I haven't, but a couple of my friends have. Um,
I've known a few people too.
a prenup.
Ooh, that's a tough one, actually. I don't know how to answer that, except for it would completely depend on who it is and what's going on in our lives. Because if
Yeah.
I feel like I'm some sort of sugar daddy, or I know that I'm carrying this relationship, maybe, you know. Ideally, I think at one point I would have said no, maybe over the top, too over the top. But nowadays, I don't want to say bare minimum though. I don't think that's the bare minimum. Maybe okay. I'm gonna say over the top. If that's the rules, over the top. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, changing your religion to your partners.
No, never.
Yeah. Too
I wouldn't
much.
do it. Too
Too
much.
much.
That's too much.
Opening up your relationship.
Damn, that's a tough one. Um,
Have
I
you
would
done it?
say
Have you tried
I
to
have.
open it
I
up?
have. I have with multiple partners, and and it's always to their suggestion, and it's always been they're the ones who break their own rules every single time. Every single
So it
time.
hasn't
And one
worked.
and one partner, it was multiple times they did it, and they broke their own rules multiple times. So I was like,
Um,
actually, maybe you just shouldn't be with me, and I shouldn't be with you, because it
yeah.
sounds like you just want to be free, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's a tough one. I would say over the top.
Yeah.
Over the top.
I
Yeah,
don't
yeah, yeah.
share. I don't share. That's for
You
sure.
know, I've had my share of plenty of group activities, so I don't mind sharing, but it's the romantic and it's the other trust and other
Oh yeah, I've had
factual things. Yeah.
massive amounts of orgies with rock stars in my
Yeah.
20s. I'm
Oh
saying
my God. Yes.
if I'm in a relationship,
Right.
do
You don't
not make
share.
eye contact with my
Oh
man. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Yeah, we
Yeah.
don't
Yeah. There would
share.
have to be all sorts of rules. Not like we're just going to a club and you're cruising some dude and go make out with him. No, no,
Yeah.
probably not. Yeah. Over the top.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, sharing a toothbrush.
Ooh, over the top.
Too much.
My mother's a dental hygienist, a retired dental hygienist, and the stories things I've seen from teeth. Ooh.
You know what does crack me up though, when like you'll be intimate on so many different levels, but
Oh,
like
of
a lot. So
course. Of
I will
course.
share a toothbrush, which is unpopular. I think most people
Fair.
would agree
Fair.
with you, but like
Fair.
you'll get in some weird areas of someone's body, and then I'll grab someone's toothbrush, and they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, mine's at
Right.
home," and they're like, "That's where I cross the line," you know? I
It's
don't
like
get it.
I will clean the plaque off your teeth with my tongue, but not with your
Yeah,
toothbrush.
yeah. But what you
That's
think
hilarious.
is the more common response? So,
People would
a
be
lot of
too
people don't
grossed
want to
out by
share.
it. It's like sharing a Q-tip or something. You know what I mean? Or a bath.
Yeah.
People are freaked out. I wouldn't share a bath with someone either. I don't want somebody else's body skin on me and stuff.
Really?
No. I mean, if I'm taking a bath with them and it's like the magical moment, but if we're talking
Yeah.
about like, Rococo caste systems where you were like the 12th person in line to take the bath or the fifth person,
Yeah.
all that water's been under, I don't, yeah. Oh,
Not
that
the
creeps me
rose
out.
petal like champagne bath
Oh
that's
yeah,
in an
that's different.
Airbnb.
That's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's different. That's
Yeah.
different. The whole
That's
magical
funny.
moment.
Okay. Remembering their coffee order.
Oh, over the top. I don't care.
Over the top. You
Get your
don't
own
need it.
coffee, actually. That's what I say. Get your own damn coffee. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, over the top. I would much rather remember something else than that, I guess. But
Filling
yeah.
up their gas tank.
Oh, that's over the top too. They can fill up their own gas. No, I mean, if somebody
This is
did
why
that for
we're
me,
single. No.
right? No, but I mean,
No.
yeah, independent woman life. No, well, it's also like if somebody did that for me, that's such an amazing, beautiful gesture. But I would
Yeah.
never be like, you have to do this. This is the bare minimum. How dare you not do that?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
It's a over
But
the top thing.
it'd be like a nice surprise. It'd be like, oh my God, babe, thank you. You
Yeah.
know, yeah.
Yeah. Well, my God, thank you so much for
You're
stopping by
so
Steph's
welcome,
Rock Show.
gorgeous.
I got to
Oh my
learn all about you,
gosh.
play a game, and
Oh my gosh,
you're
you're so
welcome by
welcome.
again anytime. Everyone,
Oh
go
my God,
check
I
out
loved
Potty
having you.
Mouth. I'm gonna
Thanks so
tag you
much.
on everything, but if you're
Please
in
do.
Chicago, you can see you live. Do you have or anything you want to bring up or
Oh my gosh, I
plug?
just did a shit ton of stuff last month, so I'm kind of going into an off season. One of my home bars is Hydrate Nightclub, whom I love. Shout out to Hydrate Nightclub and all of my witches there. So I do a lot of performing there for them, but then all sorts of little places all around, whatever have you. Do you want to pull a tarot card before we go?
Yeah,
All
I'm
right,
so
tell
down.
me when to stop, and I'll pull one for you, mommy.
Okay. Uh, stop.
All right, let's see what we got.
That's hilarious. I love tarot.
Ooh, good one.
What is
Queen of Swords.
What's
All right.
happening to me then?
All right, I'm gonna tell you. So the queens in the tarot deck. I'm gonna talk real fast. The queens in the
That's
tarot
fine.
deck are all sorts of like these feminine or sort of powerful female archetypes, right? In some cases, they say like the witches of the tarot, and they're all good at different
Ooh.
things, right? They're all good at different stuff. The Queen of Cups is very nurturing and emotional and intuitive. The Queen of Pentacles can take a seed and grow the forest, and the Queen of Wands very evocative of the Justice card, right? Where she's holding the sword in one hand and the scales in the other.
Could be Queen of
She's a
Dicks. Is that what it is?
right. No, that's the Queen of Wands.
Okay.
The Queen of Clubs, otherwise.
Okay.
But the Queen of Swords, she she's very just and she's very fair. Here we see these, like, I'm gonna go through the imagery really quick. Here you see the sort of beautiful sky, right? The clouds are rolling past, and swords in the tarot represent ideas, things of the mind. And she's holding this sword not willy-nilly. She's holding it upright. She knows how to cut through all the bullshit. She's very just in her thinking, in her mind. She's very rational. Okay. And just like the clouds that are rolling by, she has tons of ideas that are always coming to her, tons of thoughts, tons of amazing concepts and ideas. Now, on her lower polarity, however, maybe you're being too gossipy, too
Ooh.
judgmental, too mental in your mind, not balancing enough. That's always what life in the tarot is about, isn't it? Balancing the mind with the feelings, balancing the earth with the air, whatever that looks like for you. So if you find that maybe she's more in your lower polarity, she's saying balance out things with the mind. Don't get stuck. You know what I mean? Don't get too in your head. Don't get too gossipy or too nitpicky, too bitchy. You know what I mean? But she's
Yeah.
a magical, lovely card. Yeah, sometimes she can be a bit serious. You know what I mean? Because she's got to cut through a lot of crap. But that's why, in one hand, she's sort of like, just bring the people to me. The other hand, she's sort of holding her sword up, not willy nilly. So yeah, when this card comes to you,
I love it.
either it's in your placement right now or in the future, I say use your mind a lot, feel that divine feminine energy, follow that sort of like mental intuition and clarity. You know what I mean? And or if you have to be very just in a situation coming towards you, be like that. Yeah. So you
Oh,
have
that's
it.
a good card
Meditate
right
on it.
now. I
Thanks,
have to
love.
make a
Thank you.
big decision the end of this month, so I like it. It's
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
She's saying use your mind to be very clear
Okay.
with your decisions, balance all the things. Yeah. Thank you for
I
having a
love
potty mouth
it.
tarot moment.
Thank you so much
You're
for
welcome, love.
a tarot card reading and stopping by and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to follow your life. I love how artsy and fun and unique your posts
Yeah.
are. So
Life
it's
in
cool.
Chicago is fun and magical. I mean, you know, I feel like Sally Bowles in Cabaret.
I love it.
All right, love. Thank you for having me. It was a blast.